5 YouTubers, 5 harrowing stories that turned creativity into catastrophe. In the relentless chase for views and fame, some pushed boundaries too far, with devastating consequences they never saw coming. From stunts that ended in heartbreak to final moments caught on camera, these tragedies expose the haunting cost of chasing viral glory. What compels someone to risk everything for the spotlight? Here are 5 of the most disturbing cases where filming cost YouTubers their lives, leaving behind chilling lessons for us all. Pedro Ruiz had a dream to escape the struggles of his past and build a future filled with fame and fortune. His ticket to that dream? Daring YouTube stunts designed to shock and awe. But on June 26, 2017, one bold idea turned a young couple's ambition into an unimaginable nightmare. Pedro Ruiz had one obsession: viral fame. He craved the spotlight, the likes, and the endless attention that came with it, and he was willing to do anything to get it. Pedro Ruiz, born on April 21, 1996, was no stranger to hardship. His childhood was a constant struggle, each day a battle against the weight of poverty. The hunger for something better burned deep inside him. And that hunger grew stronger when he met Mona Lisa Perez. Mona Lisa had her own YouTube channel, where she captured the beauty of life's simple moments. When Mona Lisa found out she was pregnant, something clicked. It wasn't just about building a family, it was about building a future. Together, they dreamed of creating an online empire. A life where they could leave their struggles behind and build something that would be remembered. But in their quest to turn that dream into reality, they'd soon find out just how far they were willing to go and what it would cost them. Pedro, who often joked that he was borderline crazy, lived for the thrill of adrenaline, the kind of rush that comes from flirting with danger. He craved that feeling of being alive, teetering on the edge of death, convinced that the closer he got to the edge, the more attention he'd get. He wasn't just looking for views, he was chasing immortality, believing that wild stunts would make him unforgettable, elevating his channel. But as his hunger for fame grew, so did the risks. In a haunting twist of fate, Pedro Ruiz seemed to predict his own tragic end in a video he recorded just hours before his death. The stunt was meant to be his big break, a risky, adrenaline-fueled spectacle that would launch his YouTube channel into viral territory. The plan was simple yet deadly. Mona Lisa Perez, his girlfriend, would shoot him in the chest at point-blank range while he held a thick book to protect himself. Pedro had tested the stunt before and, convinced that the book would stop the bullet, believed he could pull it off. With an almost eerie confidence, he trusted that Mona Lisa's aim would be perfect, and that the world would watch in awe as they defied death. What he didn't know was that this reckless moment of glory would be the last one he ever shared with the world. Mona Lisa Perez had tried to stop him, but Pedro Ruiz, fearless and hungry for recognition, saw danger as nothing more than a stepping stone to greatness. On June 26, 2017, he was preparing for what he thought would be his most viral moment yet, an iconic stunt that would cement his place in internet history. Armed with a .50 caliber Desert Eagle and a thick encyclopedia as his only shield, Pedro was convinced the book would protect him. "As long as you don't miss," he told Mona Lisa, his voice steady but masking the weight of the moment. The chilling irony of those words echoed in the air. His only worry was whether Mona Lisa's aim would be perfect. Their young child, along with nearly 30 onlookers, watched in silence as Mona Lisa hesitated for a moment before pulling the trigger. In an instant, the bullet tore through the book, piercing Pedro's chest. The horror of what had just happened hit Mona Lisa like a wave. She scrambled to call 911, her voice shaking as she screamed that she had accidentally shot him. In March 2018, Mona Lisa Perez pled guilty to second-degree manslaughter, and the consequences of that fateful day would haunt her forever. The judge sentenced her to 6 months in prison, a harsh reminder of the irreversible mistake that cost Pedro his life. But even these punishments couldn't undo the pain of losing Pedro, of forever carrying the burden of a decision she could never take back. As for the video of that tragic moment, it's now considered lost media, a chilling relic of the dangers that come with chasing viral fame. It's a stark reminder of just how far people will go for a fleeting moment in the spotlight, and how a single, reckless decision can shatter lives forever. Albert Derand was a dreamer with a camera, a 22-year-old bursting with passion and creativity. With his infectious energy, he had a rare ability to turn even the simplest moments into captivating stories that connected with thousands. To Albert, life wasn't about playing it safe. It was about chasing the extraordinary, capturing the beauty in the extremes, and living on the edge. That fearless approach to life took him to the heights of the Italian Alps, where he sought the perfect shot that would leave his audience in awe. But on July 28, 2021, as Albert climbed the towering peak of Mount Saseda, that pursuit of greatness turned into a tragic reminder of the fine line between ambition and danger. Born on September 15, 1998, in the small town of Rus, Denmark, Albert came from humble beginnings, but his dreams were anything but small. From a young age, he was drawn to storytelling, humor, and music. At 18, he took his first steps into the world of YouTube, quickly finding his rhythm with comedic sketches and catchy music videos that captured his playful spirit. By 2018, he was making waves with Albert, a comedy series about his fictional struggles to make a living as a YouTuber. The series won the Blockbuster Audience Award at the 2019 Danish Film Festival, a triumph that solidified his place as a rising star. Albert's fame was growing. His Instagram followers were soaring into the hundreds of thousands, and his YouTube channel had 170,000 subscribers. His hit songs like Emoji, Ula, and Summer racked up millions of views, and his unique, authentic voice resonated with fans worldwide. Albert wasn't just a creator, he was an inspiration, sharing his love for life, music, and adventure with a global audience. But it was the summer of 2021 that would mark the peak of Albert's adventure, one that would take him far higher than he ever imagined. Albert set out to film one of the most breathtaking experiences of his life, a journey to the summit of Mount Saseda in the Italian Alps. For Albert, this wasn't just another adventure. It was a chance to share something truly epic with his fans. He wanted to give them a glimpse of what it felt like to stand at the top of the world, above the clouds, to feel the rush of being alive in nature's rawest form. Mount Saseda, with its dramatic cliffs and sweeping views, was the perfect canvas for Albert's creative vision. Each step of the climb he filmed, eager to capture the stunning beauty of the mountain, wanting to bring his audience along for the ride. He was so close to sharing that magical moment, so close to capturing that breathtaking shot, but in a cruel twist of fate, as Albert stood near the peak, trying to film the perfect angle, disaster struck. He lost his footing, slipping and tumbling more than 650 feet down the treacherous slopes. His friends, who were with him, helplessly watched the horror unfold before their eyes. They immediately called for help, but the rough terrain and harsh conditions made it nearly impossible for rescuers to reach him. When a helicopter finally located Albert's body, it was too late. He was pronounced dead at the scene. The news of Albert's death shattered his fan base and sent waves of grief through the online creator community. Tributes poured in from friends, fans, and collaborators, all mourning the loss of a bright, talented young man who had so much more to give. Albert Derand's death was a devastating blow, a reminder of how fragile life can be and how quickly it can be taken away. Grant Thompson, known to the world as the King of Random, was the embodiment of boundless curiosity and fearless innovation. With a mind that constantly sought to explore the extraordinary in the everyday, he had a rare gift for transforming the mundane into the mesmerizing. Whether he was experimenting with science, testing DIY stunts, or building makeshift inventions, Grant had a unique way of turning his wild ideas into jaw-dropping reality. For him, life was an ongoing experiment. But on July 30th, 2019, that relentless pursuit of discovery took a tragic turn, and what was meant to be another daring adventure became his final one, leaving a hole in the hearts of millions who had followed his journey. Born on November 21, 1976, in Canada, Grant grew up in a family that encouraged creativity and exploration. His curiosity wasn't confined to just one pursuit. He was a man of many talents. After high school, he trained as a pilot, spending 11 years flying for an airline before transitioning into real estate in 2010. This shift granted him the financial freedom to pursue his true passions: curiosity, adventure, and innovation. And that's when the King of Random was born. Launched in 2010, Grant's YouTube channel quickly exploded in popularity, amassing over 11 million subscribers and billions of views. From life hacks and science experiments to high-octane DIY projects and daring stunts, the King of Random became a global sensation. His infectious enthusiasm and fearless curiosity captivated audiences, making him a household name in the YouTube community. But it wasn't just about the views for Grant. It was about pushing the boundaries of what was possible. And that mindset led him to his final adventure, the one that would ultimately take his life. On July 29, 2019, Grant set off on a solo paragliding trip near Sand Hollow State Park in Utah. The thrill of the sky, the rush of the wind, and the promise of new discoveries beckoned him. But as hours passed and Grant didn't return, something didn't feel right. The man who had always been a master of the unpredictable had become unpredictable himself, and a deep sense of dread began to set in. When he failed to answer calls and didn't make it back as planned, a search began, a search that was heavy with the sense that something had gone terribly wrong. Using GPS data from Grant's phone, authorities pinpointed the crash site. When a rescue helicopter finally reached the location, they found Grant's body near his paragliding equipment. He was pronounced dead at the scene. Investigators later discovered that Grant had been caught in an unexpected updraft, causing him to rapidly lose altitude and crash. A recording device recovered from the wreckage revealed the devastating moments before the crash, but out of respect for Grant and his family, the footage was never released to the public. The news of his death hit the YouTube community like a thunderclap. To honor Grant's legacy, his co-hosts and collaborators established the Grant Thompson Memorial Outward Bound Scholarship, ensuring that his passion for exploration and discovery would continue to inspire generations. Grant Thompson's legacy lives on in every experiment, every video, and every adventure he shared with the world. His tragic death is a painful reminder that even the most daring adventurers aren't invincible, and that sometimes the smallest miscalculation can change everything. Aeter was the embodiment of pure joy and unrelenting adventure. Known for his infectious energy and a fearlessness that captivated millions, he wasn't just a YouTuber. He was a man who lived life on his own terms, constantly chasing the thrill of the next big challenge. Whether it was walking across fragile ice, diving into freezing waters, or exploring the stunning wilderness of Norway, Aeter invited his audience into his world of wild, unfiltered experiences. With every new stunt, he turned the ordinary into the extraordinary, living each moment like it was his last. But on November 27, 2021, his boundless zest for life would tragically meet an untimely end, as his birthday celebration on the ice turned into a heartbreaking final act. Born on November 22, 1964, in Svord, Norway, Aeter, whose real name was Lars, was more than just a man who loved adventure. He was a factory worker who found his greatest joy in sharing his life with the world. His YouTube channel, which boasted over 1.2 million subscribers, was a window into his remarkable life, filled with breathtaking views of Norway's natural beauty and his hilarious daring antics. Aeter wasn't afraid to take risks. His channel was filled with moments of raw authenticity, where he could be seen braving icy waters, scaling treacherous terrain, or simply sharing a moment of peaceful solitude in the great outdoors. On November 27, 2021, as he marked his 57th birthday, Aeter's infectious energy was on full display. With a mischievous grin, he kicked off his celebration by running around in his trademark underwear, a playful stunt he had become known for. But the fun didn't stop there. Fueled by his constant need for adventure, Aeter decided to take things to the next level. He grabbed a sledgehammer and began smashing into the thick ice of Jacob's Dam, a lake in Cockle, Norway, with the intention of creating a hole where he could take a swim. It was reckless, no doubt, but it was also thrilling. Aeter had done similar stunts before, confident in his ability to handle any challenge that came his way. But this time, the ice wasn't strong enough to support his weight. As he climbed out of the hole he had created, disaster struck. The ice cracked beneath him, splintering into pieces and leaving him trapped in the expanding water. In an instant, the joyous birthday celebration turned into a fight for survival. Nearby locals heard the commotion and rushed to help. They found Aeter struggling in the freezing water, his body already beginning to succumb to the shock of the cold. Without wasting a second, they pulled him from the lake and rushed him to the nearest hospital in Uval. But the damage was already done. He had been submerged for too long, and despite the doctor's best efforts to save him, Aeter tragically passed away the following day. The loss of Aeter sent shockwaves through his community of fans, friends, and fellow adventurers. His death serves as a haunting reminder that even the most daring adventurers are not invincible, and that a single moment of miscalculation can lead to a lifetime of regret. Jacob Cockle was a man whose soul belonged to the sea. Born on March 2, 1985, in the quiet coastal town of Penzance, Cornwall, Jacob was the embodiment of adventure. He spent his childhood immersed in the rhythms of the ocean, chasing waves, feeling the salt in his hair, and becoming one with the water. From a young age, the sea was his playground, and it was here that he discovered his unbreakable bond with nature. But as Jacob grew older, so did his thirst for pushing boundaries. The thrill of the unknown called to him, and it wasn't long before his fearless spirit led him down a path where the line between thrill and danger blurred, until it ultimately claimed him. Diagnosed with dyslexia at the age of 10, Jacob often found school a struggle. Instead of staying in class, he would slip away with friends, hitching rides to the nearby beaches to surf, to swim, to escape. The water became his sanctuary, and his passion for the ocean only deepened. By his teenage years, he was filming extreme stunts and posting them online, quickly amassing millions of views on his YouTube channel. For Jacob, life was one big adventure, and the water was his stage. He was a skilled swimmer, confident in his abilities and always chasing the next extreme challenge that would showcase his talents to the world. But on May 28, 2023, the very sea that had been his greatest ally would become his undoing. That day, Jacob was driven by the same urge that had propelled him through countless adventures: the need to capture something spectacular for his fans. He set his sights on the Karoo Pool, a mysterious and perilous whirlpool in the estuary of the River Hale, Cornwall. Famous for its swirling, dangerous currents, it was a natural wonder Jacob felt compelled to document, no matter the risk. He was joined by his 70-year-old friend David Rain, who shared Jacob's love for the sea, though he couldn't shake the nagging feeling that the water might be too treacherous for them that day. Jacob, however, was unshakable. His confidence in his swimming ability, honed over years of braving the roughest waters, led him to ignore the warning signs. For him, the adventure was all that mattered, So, with the same reckless excitement that had fueled so many of his past stunts, Jacob donned a horse mask, his signature comedic touch, and plunged into the whirlpool's current. At first, the experience was exhilarating. Jacob was tossed and spun by the water, laughing as the current surged around him. But as he ventured deeper into the center of the whirlpool, something shifted. The currents grew more violent, more unpredictable. Jacob, focused on capturing the perfect shot, inched closer to the heart of the whirlpool, ignoring the growing danger around him. The water wasn't just swirling now, it was pulling him in. With a sudden and violent force, Jacob was sucked into the 15-foot deep tunnel of the whirlpool. His body was dragged through the current with terrifying speed. For a fleeting moment, he was tossed out, gasping for air. But then, as if the water had other plans, it pulled him back. And this time, he wasn't spat out. Instead, Jacob was trapped. David, helpless from the shore, watched in horror as his friend was swept away, disappearing beneath the churning water. It was only when Jacob finally emerged, battered and exhausted, that David managed to pull him to safety. But the damage had already been done. A nearby fisherman, witnessing the terrifying scene, called emergency services. Paramedics arrived swiftly, and Jacob was airlifted to the Royal Cornwall Hospital in Truro. Despite all efforts to save him, Jacob's body had endured too much. He was pronounced dead shortly after his arrival. His death is a stark reminder to live boldly, but with caution, for the world is full of wonder, but also of danger. The thrill of the chase is exhilarating, but we must never forget the price that can sometimes come with it.